time. I may be the executioner, but I'll be fired if people find out, so I'll have to use force.
I guess while we're talking about anime, I stumbled upon this. I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. It's one of those animes with the absurdly long names now. I don't know why. I've made fun of them before. You know, my handmaiden is a washing machine or something like that.
You're a receptionist. Shouldn't you know who I am without needing to see my license?
Of course I know who you are! Dealing with these adventurers every day? How could I not? But I still can't assign a quest without seeing your license, so just give it to me already!
It's not an isekai, one of those stories where you fall into another universe. There was another one. I was looking through the catalog, and they did have, I think the basic gist of it was that they worked as a salaryman in our world and then ended up working as a salaryman in a fantasy world. And the image is him sitting at a bar with like a naga, you know, like a snake woman or whatever. So I see these things and I sort of rolled my eyes at them. And I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll just check this one out. Turned out to be not that bad, especially in terms of just, you know, telling a somewhat interesting story. It reminded me, it's not like high art, but it did remind me of, let's say, a pretty good webcomic that I would read. It got me reminiscent of things like early 2000s. But anyway, this is not an isekai. Everyone lives in the world they come from. But it's one of those weird things that it's like totally based off of like Japanese RPGs. Everyone has like weird powers. It's always weird how they do X-Men, but don't do X-Men. Like in My Hero, it's quirks. In this world, you're just, you know, you just sometimes are given an ability.
A skill, huh?
That's right. I can make anything I touch harden.
One guy has the ability to take over monsters' minds and have them fight for him. Another person has the ability to spontaneously create cages.
A crazy contraption, the fun is catching its mousetrap.
Some abilities are just weapons, as is the case with our heroine. It's Alina. Alina Clover. How could I forget that? Remember Slayers? You have the main character, Lena Inverse. Oh, no, wait, it's Lena No, it is Lena Inverse. Or is it Universe? I think it's Inverse. Anyway, her name's Lena. So when you name your main character Alina, it's like, oh, this is Alina.
I've heard many stories about these things. I heard its strength and durability is unmatched.
Yeah.
Listen, I only want to live a peaceful, boring life as a guild receptionist, got it?
She's got the same sort of issue. She's kind of like a tsundere. Yeah, that's it. But she's like a double reverse tsundere. She is the titular guild receptionist.
I can't believe it. Alina, you're an actual working adult.
And she chose to be a guild receptionist because she enjoys the lifestyle that it enables. She gets to clock in at a certain time. Theoretically, she should be able to clock out at a certain time. And then she gets to live in the village and get a steady paycheck and live a relatively comfortable life, as opposed to all of the adventurers that are around her. It's a little more complicated than that, and I will explain, put a pin in it. But her main issue is that she always gets overtime. And she's sick of it because as a guild receptionist, all these heroes come in and they have to register which fortress or which adventure they're going on, because apparently in this world, it's all like bureaucracy. It's like the idea of a video game screen where you go and you select your adventure and you go in there and it's like, no, you can't select that adventure because that adventure is too dangerous for your level. Anyway, she's just trying to get her job done, man. She just wants to clock in at a certain time, clock out at a certain time. But there's tons of paperwork to do because apparently when adventurers just, like run away from a challenge or get bodied, you have to fill out forms that say, this dungeon is still available. These monsters are still here. What happened when the adventurer just kind of flaked? or left or got bodied or died. We don't know how, but by the end of the first episode, it is revealed that she has like the creme de la creme when it comes to these adventurer abilities.
Also, where did that weapon come from anyway? Do you happen to have a Dia skill?
Dia what?
Seeker skills are currently the strongest ones, but Dia skills are stronger than that.
Well, I don't care.
She has a giant hammer, except on the back of it, it does have a blade. Like a little curved. You wouldn't call it like a sickle, but you'd call it like maybe a curved tooth. Very much like a raptor claw. She'll either flatten you, crush your skull, or slice you apart with this one blade. It's a comically sized hammer, so the blade is big. She gets her own little costume. She takes out this boss in this one dungeon, like a huge dragon that's been like giving her overtime for like the past month. And she takes care of it, and then her problem is solved for a little bit because, of course, there's another monster. And then, of course, people see her fighting these monsters, and they get curious. Oh.
Why does this always happen? Did you see what the executioner did to that jerk? It was so amazing, right? I love seeing my hero in all the papers!
Oh, yeah, one of her reception buddies is like totally a... I hesitate to use the word stan, but it seems appropriate in this context.
I so wouldn't mind if he hit me with that big, beefy hammer of his! I meant to say protect me!
And that's when Chase shows up. Chase is the guy who, like, love interest? He makes it obvious that he's sort of attracted to Lena, but also he makes it clear that he is way more interested in her abilities. And he isn't like sleazy or weird. He's just kind of like a generic kind of like guy. I don't know. He's cool.
You're on clients like that? All right, enough Slay. Back off.
You've got like the main guild who wants to figure out who this person with a top tier ability is, so they can use her to like defeat these bigger, worse dungeons than people even know about. There's apparently like some sort of secret history between the people who have made these dungeons and created these super abilities. I've only seen about 4 episodes, which is, yeah, it's a first complete arc of her story. You have the call to adventure, the refusal, something, and then the acceptance. She makes an agreement to do one adventure. She escorts these guys, and they're like, oh, this is too dangerous even for us. So they hightail it out of there. And then they go back in without her, and then she knows that they'll die if she doesn't show up and fight.
Do you think there's only one dark god in this world? A second one will come, and then a third after.
Shut it!
I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it would be like really dumb and fan servicey. I mean, there's a little fan service, but no, it's not like egregious or in your face or weird. It actually just kind of wants to tell this weird little story about, hidden identity and what really matters to a person. It turns out that she wanted to become a guild receptionist because that was a safer life, because she did at some point witness an adventurer die, an adventurer that she was quite fond of. It doesn't say repressed, but we as the audience don't know about it until we see her flashback.
Skill activate!
She has a skill? Hold on. That giant warhammer.
Oh, great. No turning back now. How's that for a dumbass choice?
But anyway, there's a lot of comedy with her playing off of the image of her being a nice, calm, a very patient receptionist, and just her inner monologue of like, get the hell out of here. All I want to do is go home and eat and take a bubble bath. It would be really easy, I think, to make Alina seem like a kind of a selfish little shit, because she's really like, well, I just want to clock out on time. But then she's sort of surrounded by other worse characters. Like,
No, you can't break his jaw, Alina.
so yeah, like I said, it would be super easy to like paint her as, kind of this like selfish or like really vapid kind of character, but she really just comes off as okay, well, these are the rules we all agreed to. I really just want to do my job and go home when the time comes. And of course, like I said, this seems to be just like a simple gag. But it seems to be heading towards exploring some of the deeper ramifications of what this society has built up around these sort of dungeons. And of course, like the bigger mysteries with like their precursors. I just wanted to point that out, like that just little characterization. And of course, it is mainly a comedy at the end of the day.
I hate you with all my heart, and I hope you stub your pinky toe on a dresser and die.
The art style is fine. I couldn't put a name to it. I couldn't even name an artist. I couldn't point to like anyone. I would just describe it as anime. Sometimes the eyes are a little bit more geometric than they should be, but it's fine. It seems like an okay show in terms of quality and design. Although first monster, that first dragon that they showed, boy howdy, did that look like a Zoid. It was definitely CGI animation, and it did not match very much. You could, again, it was a little bit of an issue where it looked like way too artificial, which that's not the point. The point is that the show doesn't take place in a video game. If it did, I would be like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe it does take place in a video game. They do find an artifact that is a contract. There's this screen of light, basically like a UI interface.
Ew, inverted controls? As the default? Ugh, can I change that?